I had a lot of interest in sports growing up. I used to play football at a decent level. And really I just wanted a job where I didn't sit behind the desk all day. I wanted something a bit more active, which still required you to be using your brain quite a lot.
So I qualified from King's in 2013 and I was one of 4 black people when I started and one of 2 to graduate. So there wasn't as much diversity as there seems to be now, but it was definitely a journey that I'm happy to have taken.
The sad thing is that practically everybody felt as if they lost confidence going to uni in their speech and language therapy part of their degree because they felt as if they were the wrong colour. From the clinicians, they felt as if their accents were under scrutiny if they had one, you know, and if you had a South London accent, then they were still kind of saying things like, oh, well, I can hear a slight twinge of something else.
My name is Christana and I'm an occupational therapist. On my course, there was 50 of us and there was 3 black people and I was one of them. So that in itself was very eye-opening as to how many black people knew about occupational therapy or actually were accepted onto the course. And then throughout my placements, didn't really have any black educators. Most of the OTs that I worked with on placements as well were also not black. So it was a little bit discouraging, but then at the same time, it kind of made me want to do it even more.
I went to university in Cumbria, and due to the lack of diversity in areas like that, it did make me have experienced quite a few challenges regarding my race in those areas. But coming back home to the southeast of London, I've found that the Queen Elizabeth Hospital is really supportive, and we have got quite a diversity in the therapies teams.
Working with a black person in physiotherapy, I do remember sort of studying it as an undergraduate, and also when I just entered into the career, at times you did feel quite isolated, just because there's very few and far numbers between us. And even now, there is a sort of gradual increase in the amount of physiotherapists from ethnic minorities, but it would still be a lot nicer if we were able to increase the numbers to make it a lot more representative of the population.
In Lewisham, we have a high percentage of people from ethnic minority backgrounds, and we are very fortunate in Lewisham that our team is much more reflective of the families that we serve. It's not the same in other boroughs. Parents feel much more comfortable when you see somebody who has a shared cultural background to yourself. You feel as if somebody understands.
Then working as an OT as a black person, I also felt again there was still that wasn't that many black people and not many black people, especially black women who were in senior positions, and that again made me want to sort of do really well within this role. So 4 years in and I'm actually a team lead, so I'm a band 7, and that's a big achievement for me, especially in a short space of time. And I kind of wanted to show that it is possible that there can be more black people within senior roles and within occupational therapy.
My name is Farah. I'm a speech and language therapist. One reason why I think we need more black people in speech and language therapy and therapies in general is I think representation matters. I think it's important that we as therapists represent and reflect the population that we help and we serve and we look after. I think it's important that we can give our experiences and our backgrounds and our kind of bring our cultural experiences and opinions and kind of experiences into our jobs, and I think that we can impact the services we provide so that we are always giving the best kind of care to our patients.
Because I actually work in a community where there are lots of black and ethnic minority patients, and quite often as a dietitian, patients really connect with me because they're very confident with the advice that I give, because then they know that I know their food, I know their what they normally would do, I know the community that they live in, and so I can give very targeted advice to them and to their lifestyle.
Yeah, the sort of impact that you make on people's lives, a real significant impact to where you might even see them on your way home from work and they're actually like, do you know what? I do remember you, you're Jordan, you was my physio, this feels so amazing. I haven't been able to walk from Lewisham to Cat for the past 15 years, and after coming to your program for six weeks, look at the difference, and I'm still keeping up with it today. And that's like really empowering to hear that you've had such an impact on someone's life.
One thing I'm really proud of that I've done since I've been a speech and language therapist is thinking about raising awareness in my community. So in the Somali community, raising awareness around speech and language needs and kind of the impact and kind of rewarding job that as a speech therapist we can do and we can have, and so that my community better understands what speech and language therapy is, and so that if it is something they need for a loved one, they know how to get in touch with one and kind of know what can be done for their child, friend, brother, sister, whoever. So I think that's really important.
There's a very rewarding part of my job. I thoroughly enjoy this, and that's the teaching aspect of my job. And the rewards comes in the fact that I teach nurses, newly qualified nurses, doctors, junior doctors, and even consultants. And what rewards me the most is when I go onto the wards to see patients, and the doctors are doing the things that I advise them to do, and they're coming and consulting with me. For example, yesterday I had a diabetic consultant consulting me about a very complicated patient who has been nasogastrically fed on the ward, and they want to try and get the patient's blood glucose levels under control. And they said, well, you're the expert, Lorraine, you tell us what we need to do here. And I found that very rewarding.
I enjoy working in the stroke unit based in Lewisham Hospital. I do find working with the patients that have had a stroke, the rehabilitation and the goals that are set by the patient, I find it really rewarding to help them achieve their goals. For example, if it's walking when they've had left-sided weakness, it's really rewarding to see their gains and see how much they appreciate that.
I think the biggest thing is just being able to help someone to either regain confidence in what they do or return to a particular sport. My big thing is acupuncture. So when I was awarded acupuncture lead at a previous trust, I'd say that was probably one of the best moments so far.
My name is Tunde Oladapupo and I'm a physiotherapist. What's the one thing I'll say to black people thinking about becoming a physiotherapist? I'd say go for it. It's becoming more diverse and we're being better represented and you'd love it.
My name is Mola and I'm a physiotherapist. One thing I would say to a black young person getting into therapies is go for it. It's going to be exciting, it's not always going to be an easy journey, but be the best you, kind of do your best, strive to be the best and never give up.
So I just wanted to say that we need more people that look like me working in NHS as a allied health professional. So if you feel like it's something that you want to do, like you really care about people, you really want to promote independence and you want to help others, then I would say go for it.
So one piece of advice I would give to a black physiotherapist or anyone who's interested in therapies is to get experience, even if it's a work experience day or a week of work experience. Email us at Queen Elizabeth Hospital or Lewisham Hospital. Get yourself in kind of like seeing what we get up to so you can decide on whether it's for you or not, but I can preach that it is a really rewarding job.
One thing I'd say to a young black person thinking about getting into therapies is do it. I think it's such a rewarding job. It's really interesting, so diverse and varied. I was one of three black people on my course in a course of 30, which is a little bit disheartening, and I think definitely made me want to use my voice and my experiences and bring that into the job. And not only when I was studying, but now that since I've come to work in London as well. We live in such a diverse city, and so it'd be really lovely, again, like I say, if we represent the city and the people that we live along with.
And it's a brilliant job. Where else do we get an opportunity to change people's lives and to make a huge difference, to give somebody a voice, you know, the opportunity to actually be able to say, I don't want that, or this is happening to me. We don't realise how much communication is a key part of us just having a good mental health. So how amazing is it to be in a position where you can literally change somebody's life? Absolutely come and do speech and language therapy.
It's one of those occupations that can take you in so many different directions. You can be hospital-based, sport-based, you can work with musicians, you can literally travel over the world. So please do not let your race be a factor in determining what your future could be.
We set up SLTs of colour in order to showcase how many SLTs of colour there are. People think about a speech and language therapist and they don't consider at all that it would be somebody other than a white middle-class person. You can't be what you can't see.
So my name's Shen, and this is what a physiotherapist looks like.
This is what a physiotherapist looks like.
This is what a dietitian looks like.
This is what a speech therapist looks like.
This is what an occupational therapist looks like.
This is what a senior musculoskeletal physiotherapist looks like.
My name's Angela, and this is what a speech and language therapist looks like.
So this is what a musculoskeletal physiotherapist looks like.
This is what a physiotherapist looks like.